Okay, well, I'm an officer of the court. Here's my badge.
This is Susan Bassi, and if you're watching this series, we're out with a process server who has been serving over 40 people in Santa Clara County in a single day. And we last showed you the guard at the gate and what a process server does when someone is obstructing by putting a guard at the gate to prevent service. And that happened at the law offices of B.J. Fathom. But now we're going to show you what happens when somebody obstructs the legal process and also assaults somebody who is a licensed process server and who isn't. Because the distinction is being a licensed process server and carrying a badge makes it a crime if you obstruct or assault somebody who is performing their job as a process server or other professionals such as police officers, firefighters, EMTs, and even animal control. Our first stop is at the law offices of Nicole Myers and her partner Stephen Kennedy. Notice how the process server just walked right into the law office. That's how it should look. But Nicole Myers is being called as a witness to testify about what she knows that nobody else can testify about statements that she made in a case related to this woman, a woman who I wrote an article about related to private judging and put on my videos. And after I did, Nicole Myers sought $40,000 in sanctions in the woman's divorce case.
Hello?
Let's slow that down a little bit because very few people understand family court sanctions and how they work. And the best case to illustrate that would be the case of Kathy Fike and Richard Falcone. Richard Falcone was an attorney, and Kathy Fike often acted as his paralegal. They were fairly wealthy, they lived in Saratoga, and they had a son. And during their divorce case, Richard Falcone hired 2 attorneys and got Kathy to agree to use a private judge. And once the private judge was in the case, and he knew all the attorneys and Richard Falcone, he started to sanction Kathy, and he would sanction her for various behavior in the litigation, and the sanctions went to pay Richard Falcone's attorneys. Eventually, the private judge refused to give Kathy any attorney's fees, and she had to represent herself because she wasn't given access to the community property, and she didn't get a fee award in order to level the legal playing field. And then, in addition to that, representing herself, she had to use her friends as process servers because she couldn't afford a legal and licensed process server. And the private judge then questioned her proofs of service during the divorce case and had her referred to the district attorney, Jeff Rosen, who was newly elected and elected to prosecute Kathy related to those proofs of service. So she was criminally prosecuted, sanctioned $1 million that went to pay her attorneys, and that's what a divorce case can do in Silicon Valley. But she also lost custody of her child and the home that she had spent her lifetime creating.
Anybody here? I'm looking for Nicole Myers. Okay, I'm serving a subpoena, so it would have to be a civil personal service at the office.
Okie dokie.
All right. Thank you much, ma'am.
Nicole Myers was claiming to be on vacation, and her assistant wasn't doing much to lift a finger to help, and that means that Nicole Myers still needs to be served personally, and since she's on vacation and it's a 3-day weekend, that may mean being served at her home.
You go. You go.
The next 2 attorneys on the process servers list were Constance Carpenter and James Hoover of the Hoover Kropalka law firm, and these attorneys are being called as witnesses in connection not only to their work with private judges, much like Nicole Myers, but also in connection with these nonprofit groups that claim to be helping people involved in domestic violence cases that also happen to have a family law case. The typical attorney in Silicon Valley who issues claims of domestic violence or has to defend them has stated that they make as much as $50,000 to $100,000 more in attorney's fees when domestic violence is addressed in family court rather than in criminal court.
I'm here to serve a few of the attorneys' subpoenas. So I need to see Constance Carpenter, James Hoover, and Christina Adams.
Christina Adams is an attorney who doesn't work for this firm, and the paralegal who is accepting the paperwork should have known that and said that. Instead, she took the paperwork and took it back for review because the attorneys have to decide if they will accept personal service or not. Once they accept personal service, it's an acknowledgement of the service, and it is not necessary for the process server to go to their homes. But Christina Adams doesn't have an office here, so the process server is going to have to go to the other office in order to find Christina Adams.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Good afternoon.
Hi.
I'm looking for Christina Adams.
She's not in. I can see if her assistant's available.
Okay.
And your name?
Mark Andrews.
At 10 minutes to 5, the process server waited and waited to find out if Christina Adams would accept personal service, and he was told that she was in court at the time that he was waiting in her office, even though court would have ended at 5.
You mean there are judges who missed their tea time today?
You know, there was an old San Jose Mercury story. This was when the Mercury reporters actually reported, and they caught all the judges taking Fridays off to go golf. And so they sent their photographers to catch them on the golf course, and they put it on the front page of the newspaper. The judges went nuts. They quickly scrubbed that, and it changed it. They weren't doing it anymore after that. Journalism changes behavior, and the Mercury used to know how to do it.
Most journalists knew how to do it.
That's right. Now they all cheat.
Or they just toe the corporate line.
That's right. Toe the corporate line. To the fire?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
I can't get off the roofer, but if you want me to take a copy, take a copy. But I can't get off the roofer.
Okay. I guess we're going to Santa Cruz.
When a licensed process server makes an effort to serve an attorney in their office, it's a professional courtesy. And when that attorney barricades their law office's doors, as BJ Fathom did, that may be a legal issue. But it's not a legal issue for simply having your staff refuse service. But it does invite the service to come to your home. And that's exactly what happened to Miss Adams over the holiday weekend. An unlicensed process server went to her home, identified her in her backyard having a little get-together with her children, some dogs, and some guests, and then identified her and dropped the papers over the fence. And when he did, Miss Adams allegedly unlocked her gate, told her dogs to sick him, and had the dogs chase the unlicensed process server down the street. And now the police are involved, and this process serving will continue through the weekend.
I've done 35 serves since noon.
Thank you.
You're welcome, ma'am. Have a good day.